Name of the Holy and Undivided Trinity, one God. Amen. Last week, Paula talked about the parable of sower effectively. Instead of usual interpretation emphasizing on the type of soil, she let us see the story from the different perspectives. The perspective of the sower. It doesn't matter how the condition of the soil is. He keeps sowing everywhere, refusing to give up on any patch of ground, revealing God's nature of generosity. The same agricultural theme continues in today's gospel with a little twist. To its parable, there are two kinds of sowers and two kinds of seeds. One grows to be wheat and the other weed. The servants asked, "Do you want us to go and gather weeds?" But the master answers, "No, for in gathering the weeds, you would uproot the wheat along with them." Fair point. But I think the most significant point here is not about the knowledge of how to pull the weeds, but whether we could identify weeds correctly. I had a tremendous opportunity recently, just about a month ago, as a chaperone of the youth ministry trip. I got to go to St. Julian's Church in Norwich, England. One of the service projects we did there was to clean up the garden area. The problem was not if I knew how to pull the weeds, but I kept asking, "Is this weed?" In the midst of beautiful wildflowers, I couldn't really tell which I should be pulling out or which I should leave alone. Donald, or some other translation use the word tares, is the plant traditionally identified as the weeds in this parable. When you see the image of Donald and wheat side by side, they look strikingly similar, especially before the grain matures. Our perception of who is wheat and who is weed is often mistaken. We read the same sort of stories in the Bible as well, like Zacchaeus, Matthew the tax collector, Mary Magdalene, and Paul, formerly known as Saul. Speaking of Paul, when I am asked about my call to this vocation, I always say it wasn't like Paul on his way to Damascus with a sudden light and a booming voice from heaven. Mine was more like a slow nudge. It was in my early 30s. I was in Arkansas, excited about having my first job after graduate school, singing in the Episcopal Church in Hot Springs as a choir member. After one of those Wednesday rehearsals, Lynn, the organist, Lynn and I went for a late dinner, which we often did. At one of those occasions, I can't remember how she ended up asking this question, but she asked me anyway, "Have you thought about being a priest?" I literally laughed out loud. I mean, saying something like, "Thank you, Lynn, that's very sweet of you, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's not for me." A seed was thrown into a field. I have to admit that the thought of it had lingered on me for a while, but at that time, my career as music was way more important. That was one season of harvest. The soil of the field was not ready to receive yet. But God continued to sow generously. And years later, I stand right in front of you. It seems that a seed landed in a different type of soil this time. I left my career as a musician and started my seminary education 3 years ago. I loved it, and I will treasure the experience at the seminary, but it wasn't always hunky-dory. My first year especially was full of doubt. Before I left for the seminary, I often felt my life had become purposeless, and my work felt mundane. But then, being in the drastically different environment at the seminary, I started wondering whether God truly called me, or I was simply trying to escape an unhappy place. Was my discernment wheat, or was it merely another weed produced by frustration? But now I have come to believe that God met me in that tangled field. As Augustine said, one examining his conscience finds weeds should not fear to change. The order has not yet been cut them down. The harvest has not yet come. Do not be today what you were yesterday, nor tomorrow what you are today. In today's psalm, we read, darkness is not dark to you. The night is as bright as day. Thus, the courage to trust. God sees perfectly. Therefore, we do not need to panic, judge, or despair. We are simply called to keep growing where God has planted us. In this season of harvest, I have been sowed to this wonderful soil here at St. Christopher's Episcopal Church. If I haven't had the privilege to speak to you yet, my name is Iwao Asakura. I have been recently ordained as a transitional deacon and started serving here at the beginning of this month. I am looking forward to knowing each of you, witnessing the nature of God together in worship, in community, in brokenness, and in ordinary life, that God sows, God grows patiently, and God sees perfectly. Amen.